think that if in response to what have you accomplished, the first thing that comes to mind is internet beef, you have to have better priorities? 100%.
If you don't rock the boat, you get way more fucking views. Noah Samson does not criticize people on the left, even though I know for a fact he thinks way less of way many of them than he will ever say. It's because he does not want to compromise his audience. Sorry, Noah, you know it's true.
No, I don't think so. I disagree.
I think it is.
Well, the reason I don't do that is
I know
because
that you agree with me on tons of things that you will never say publicly. You will never make comments. It's fine.
Listen, no.
Like I didn't wade into this drama and shit because I think it's like the most unserious, the most unproductive, dumbass bullshit of all time. Okay? It's not even the racism conversation or you know, it's just like you have to pull yourself out of the content that you're consuming for a brief moment if you're watching shit like this and think to yourself, like, what does this accomplish? Like, is this actual politics? Am I watching actual politics right now? Am I learning anything right now? Is this in any way, shape, or form productive? Or is this the exact same dog shit that we rail on Hutch for, that we rail on Sexpestany for? Okay? Why do we rail on these fucking neoliberal losers? Not just because of their ideological predisposition, the fact that they're rudderless, the fact that they're reactionary. We also rail on them because all they care about is fucking drama, because they don't have any interest in moving the needle in a significant way. They have no interest in like actually offering coverage and analysis. BadEmpanada used to, at a certain point in his life, genuinely do that. He used to offer analysis. Maybe he still does. But somewhere along the line, he literally just flipped a switch and became this insane person. He was always insane. I've, always said that, obviously. But like, in spite of his insanity, when you watched his like comprehensive breakdowns and his YouTube videos, there was obviously like a lot of information there. There was some utility to what he was doing. There was an educational component. And then he started attacking, content creators and whatnot. And I think he really liked what that did to his analytics. And he realized like all this is drama. Drama is the best possible way to make money, I guess. I don't know. And ultimately, it's irrelevant. It's insignificant. Okay? It's the reason why I'm even touching this with a fucking 10-foot pole is to show you briefly, like, this kind of stuff is very silly.
Well,
real quick. The reason I don't do it is because I don't think the way the platform allows could bring any meaningful change other than big drama, big clash video.
I think it can.
Noah's absolutely right, and I respect him for it. I have my disagreements at times with every single person on this, every single person that's on screen right now. You can keep your disagreements to comradely disagreements. You can keep your disagreements to constructive conversations. Oftentimes held privately is probably a lot better because the moment that you're doing it on camera, it turns into a spectacle. Okay? If that's the only thing you have, if that's the only type of output that you engage in, then all of a sudden you're just nothing but a wrecker. You're just making money off of being a wrecker.
Massively.
What has though? Okay, so for you, what has brought positive change in your eyes from what you do from other creators? Like, what can you visibly see as you say you've pushed the needle? How?
Absolutely. You see what's been happening with the first time ever that Hassan Piker is actually facing serious like left-wing backlash again.
That's not true, by the way. My entire fucking political commentary career, I have always had ultras and plenty of disagreement with the left. I can't believe he's taking credit over this. And even if that was the case, even if that literally was the case, if this was all because of him. What a delusional statement, by the way. But if this, first of all, the backlash is not even fucking serious. It's irrelevant. It's only serious because sometimes I get so fucking annoyed that I respond to it. And then everyone celebrates it because they go, oh, we got him. We pissed them off. But if the only marker for success that you have under your belt is the fact that you annoyed another left content creator, you're unserious. This is the most pathetic thing to take ownership over.
Here's, I'm going to support Zionist electoral strategy. Guess who started that?
Deal with you. That has everything to do with Hasan's behavior in the moment.
How do you know
I'm the one who's been
you?
pointing this out. The entire reason why anyone even knows anything about Graham Plattner in this sphere is because of me, for example.
Yeah, bro. Every content creator is a fucking delusional narcissist at the end of the day, myself included, okay? We all have our fucking blind spots, but this is the most delusional. You know what this is the equivalent of? If I was running around being like, I'm the only one who can get anybody elected, okay? If I was running around being like, yeah, guess what, dude? I'm the reason why Kamala Harris actually lost the election because I pointed out her fucking flaws. Can you imagine if I sincerely believed that? I would expect none of you to be a fan of mine from that point on. If I ran around being like, Kamala Harris lost the election because of me, I'm the kingmaker, I'm the only one who actually fucking had the capacity to understand Kamala Harris's flaws, and without me, Kamala Harris would have probably won. I did that. I'm taking ownership over that. Imagine if I fucking ran around saying delusional nonsense like this, or even like I singularly got Mamdani elected. I got Mamdani elected. If I was like genuinely running around saying dumb fuck bullshit like that. Ridiculous. Is totally ridiculous.
I was talking about that from the very fucking beginning.
Yeah, I will
all the shit that people is spreading about that comes from fucking me. Now, I don't care about taking
and
credit
you say
from
I
this,
have
right?
a big
Oh, you don't take about taking credit. You don't care about taking credit for
ego.
it.
No, this isn't ego.
This is insane levels of ego. BadEmpanada is essentially saying that his biggest contribution to the movement is having gotten more people to hate Hasan Piker. He's really just functionally destiny at that point because that's his only contribution to the entire planet. Yeah. Like for example, I have yet to hear a convincing argument from anyone that actively talks about the successes of like making sure Susan Collins continues to be the senator in Maine. Like what that contribution will look like. If that is your goal, right? If that's your ultimate goal, like when you accomplish that goal, what will that do? Like what is the success of that initiative? That's the success of that movement, right? At some point, you have to look around and see who your allies are. If you're posting like Neera Tanden, if you're posting like Sarah Longwell, actually even Sarah Longwell's not posting like that anymore. But like if you're posting the exact same shit that like the New York Times posting, if you're taking the New York Times criticisms of Graham Plattner, the article that the New York Times released about Graham Plattner seriously, okay? At some point, you have to realize like you are serving the interests of Israel, okay? Yeah, you're going to be agreeing. Another BadEmpanada head, David Frum. Cut Plattner loose. Just a few years ago, Republicans sacrificed an Alabama Senate seat rather than endure an unacceptable colleague. Will Democrats do the same in Maine? Either you are possibly getting paid to do this because it's so unhinged that I assume like at a certain point, there's got to be a turning point, right? There's got to be a turning point where you find yourself in coalition with some of the biggest dick riders of Israel against this guy. It's understandable to be skeptical of his background. It's understandable to scrutinize his background. It's understandable to say maybe he's going to be like a pro-Israel guy initially, right? Where'd this guy come from? He's an oyster farmer, he says. He's an oyster fisherman, he says. 4 tours in Iraq, and then a Blackwater stint. That freaks me out, right? Those are massive red flags, okay? Those are massive red flags. That's fine. But at some point, you have to realize that you're aligned with some of the biggest Israel dick riders. You have to ask yourself how that happened. How did that happen? How are you in line with the biggest defenders of Israel? How did that happen? And at that point, just like Zay Squirrel did, you have to make another consideration. You have to think, whether you believe Grant Plattner or not, it's very clear that Israel believes Grant Plattner. It's very clear that Zionists believe that Grant Plattner is fucking sincere in his criticisms of Israel. That's it. I don't think these people have a goal. They just feel good by posting and making other people feel bad. They act exactly as the same as the worst chuz. They do it for leftism or anti-imperialism, but they act the same. They're nihilists who think cruelty and self-righteousness is activism. Yeah. No, there's always been plenty of fucking assholes on the left as well. I yell at them all the time, and the left has always been unbelievably critical of me. There's never been a moment where the left has coalesced their forces behind me. Well, there are some exceptions. Usually, in the past, the left would actually say, all right, well, critical support to Hasan. He's literally under federal investigation, for example. And these guys don't even do that. They actually celebrate it. They take ownership over it. They say it's a good thing. So clearly at that point, you got to realize, like, yeah, they're not invested in anything at all. They're just talking shit. They're just edgy, nihilist, 4chan style fucking posters, but ostensibly on the left. And that's it. I'm glad that they have the right position on Israel ideologically, but what they're doing is moving far beyond productive discourse. Yeah, they might not personally. And by a lot of people, I mean, like, this is a tiny, fucking minuscule, insignificant number of Twitter posters. That's pretty much all it is. So any kind of reflection on what they're saying, as though it's a serious mover or shaker, is already utterly preposterous. But, like, these guys, like their whole smoke is with like the DSA or anyone that even dares to engage in electoralism, and nothing else. There is a fucking massive sea of unbelievably powerful Zionists out there, and instead of fucking attacking those people, they literally exclusively hit people that are closest to them ideologically. Okay? At some point, you have to fucking realize, that your disagreements are not constructive. Like, they're not, there's no real investment here beyond just personally losing your shit. So should you stop attacking people that the Israel lobby hates, like Tucker Carlson too, on the issue of Israel? Do you see, how do I talk about Tucker Carlson on the issue of Israel? I'm critical. I scrutinize it. But at the end of the day, I welcome it. I welcome his criticism of Israel. When have I not welcomed it? Hello? You think that's a good own? Is that what you think? You think that was a good, like, gotcha? Yes, people need to put energy into other people. Plattner is not the single worst guy. No, that's what I mean. If you're like, we have a finite amount. What do I always say? We have a finite amount of time on God's green earth, okay? Use it wisely. If you are focusing all of your efforts alongside, if you're focusing all of your efforts alongside the entire Zionist movement in this country on the one fucking guy that they all clearly want to ensure never makes it to the Senate, then you might not be using your time wisely. You might not be productive. Is that okay? Can we, like electoralism, whether you like electoralism or not, can we agree that drawing all the aggro or focusing all the aggro on the guy that like the New York Times is obviously actively trying to disparage alongside the New York Post or all these other people is probably not the best use of your time and effort? It's very strange. Yeah. Here's another Oppo piece. Graham Plattner was an asshole extraordinaire as DC bartender, troubled and dark. Turns out, here's another regular citizen who says Graham Plattner is mean. Oops, my bad. He's actually a known conservative activist, media figure, and Zionist lunatic. The New York Post does this all the time. His name is Wayne Leguzin. Plattner was just kind of dark. You try to turn up a little conversation and he wouldn't give anything back. No smile, no acknowledgement. There was just nothing coming back that was friendly and warm. He's an independent journalist and strategic communications and policy consultant. Wayne Leguzin is a conservative American writer, video producer, school choice advocate, the former editorial pages editor for The Gazette, National Catholic Register, Faith and Family Magazine, the other national and international publications. By the way, this is the peak of opposition research, that Graham Plattner was a fucking asshole as a bartender. Wow, you did it. He was mean as a bartender? No way. Like this right here, by the way, this right here is a perfect example. From the newspaper that brought you, Hamas was doing organized and directed mass rapes on October 7, comes another hit. Graham Plattner is actually a rapist domestic abuser. And this guy immediately fucking eats it hook, line, and sinker. Graham Plattner fantasizes about committing rape to show how dominant he is. Imagine what he did to Iraqi and Afghan women if this is how he talks to American women. Like, what the fuck is that? What the fuck? What does that take? Not everyone has to work on the same project. You don't have to support Plattner. You don't have to support electoralism. No, that's what I'm saying. Exactly. Fuck it. Who cares? You don't. I mean, you're a Cypriot. You're a Cypriot Australian living in Argentina, making American dollars in Argentina, a much poorer country. Okay, and you're farming as many of that as many dollars as you possibly can by just attacking, only hitting left at this point, only hitting people closest to you. It's very clear that you're not really invested in a political project or even advancing a political ideology. It's just pure nihilistic. It's pure self-interested, right? But like at the end of the fucking day, just what is the purpose of all of this, right? Like, what do you achieve with all of this? Is your goal to just like make sure Susan Collins is the next fucking senator? Is that what it is? Republican majority? Because like I'm willing to entertain that argument. Maybe the argument is you're an accelerationist and you do believe that the MAGA fascist movement will actually crumble or will accelerate the American empire's demise, and you want that to happen. And perhaps that's the reason why you're doing it, right? At least there's something there at least there's some meat that I could put my teeth on, right? Like, what's the argument? Is that an argument? I mean, it is an argument, but is that your argument? Yeah, these chatters can't distinguish between choosing not to support Plattner actively and making your entire online persona opposition to him. Yeah, that's it. I understand people being like, he's going to be, I disagree, but I at least understand people being like, I can't see myself endorsing a person that, like, you know, is a war criminal. I suspect that he did war crimes. He doesn't seem repentant about his service, all this stuff, right? I can't endorse this person. I can't trust this person. And there are plenty who have said that in the pro-Palestine movement, right? But even those people see the New York Times article and all the other fucking, opposition, all the manufactured outrage that's coming out on the Plattner side, and even they realize, like, okay, something indecent is happening here, right? But I don't even expect that. I don't even expect you to recognize that you probably shouldn't be aligned with the New York Times on someone that you have declared as insufficiently anti-Zionist. Right? But what you could do is, let your arguments exist in the world, and that's fine. And then fucking move on to more productive shit. You know what I mean? Talk about Israel's impact in Latin American elections and Latin American countries, if you want to cover that. There are a million different things that you could be working on right now that's South America related, or even the United States of America related. There's plenty of fucking things happening here. But if all of your focus is literally constantly posting about Graham Plattner, and you're posting in an identical manner to like some of the craziest fucking pro-Israel posters out there, right? At a certain point, I'm like, are you getting fucking paid? What's happening? Are you getting paid by the same exact the Hasbara agents? Like, what the fuck? What the absolute fuck? You look like and you sound like a Fed. You look like and sound like a wrecker. Dr. Adam Hamawi is also a vet, so anti-vet stuff is not even consistent. No. I've heard people fucking shit on Adam Hamawi as well. Yes, for being a combat surgeon. Yes. There are people who are just objectively insane. You have to understand, we have this tendency on the left to assume that just because people say the right things or use the right language or say that they're leftist, that they're always going to be on the right side of every issue, and that they all have their fucking same like ideological boundaries, and they've, they have the same fundamentals. Their worldview is anchored around the same like moral compass. It's not the case. Some people are just fucking insane. You can be an insane socialist, okay?